close to this. Michael Anthony was a guest on the Rocom show in Chicago as a radio show. This is interesting because Michael talked about going on stage with Dave in Vegas, if you can believe that. He says, I was going to show up at a show, but I had to fly out of town for a corporate gig. I just couldn't believe that. When he said that, because I remember Ron Pio said, wouldn't it be something if Michael Anthony showed up tonight? And I was like, that's like the last thing that would happen. And holy shit, it could have happened. Can you imagine? We would have lost our minds.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Can you imagine? Especially, he needed, maybe that's why he's got the piped-in background vocals, because Mike didn't show up.
Yeah, right.
Can you imagine? It's crazy. They started talking with him a little bit about the botched reunion with Van Halen, and he had said that he got a call when he was on the West Coast from Irving Azoff, and that asked him around, I said, the end of 2018, if he was interested in doing a summer tour and to block out June, July, and August. And then Sammy blocked it out for the Circle so Mike could do it, and then the whole thing fell to pieces. He said the whole thing got pulled the plug, that Ed pulled it, and then he said that Ed's been very private about his health and about what's going on with him. But he said he was very sad that it didn't happen, that he was really looking forward to it. But he said, at this point in my life, I don't need any drama. Sam and I can just play music and have fun. And he says, as you get to be a bigger band, he says it turns to a big corporate thing, and everybody gets their own manager, their own chef, their own lawyer, and it becomes just a big fucking mess. I have to say, Michael was very candid when talking in that interview. He wasn't holding back. Did you hear that interview?
Yeah, got some juicy details.
Yeah.
From him.
Yeah.
So he's just enjoying playing with Sam like he always is.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think if the opportunity to get on stage with Dave happens, he would do it. Yeah. I don't necessarily know that he's going to go out of his way. But who knows? Maybe he'll show up at a Kiss gig and get on stage with Dave. I think that would be the best opening act guest star appearance ever. But I'm biased.
Yeah, well, I think this whole summer tour, okay, and we're going to get to that next, the whole summer tour that Sammy's doing, I have a feeling this is a redo from last summer. That's what I think. I think it's Sam.
Oh, I agree. This is the tour he wanted to do.
This is the tour he wanted to do last year. As we were announcing that before, so the Circle is going on tour, Sammy and the Circle, and they are taking the show on the road for a special summer package that includes Whitesnake and Night Ranger. And to me, Dave, I don't know about you, but it looks like Whitesnake and the Circle are co-bill, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Night Ranger is the very special guest type of thing.
Right, so they're basically the opening act.
Yeah. But like a nice opening act. Like they're probably going to give them, I don't know.
I don't know. I only think they're going to get 45 minutes.
Yeah,
because
45.
I think that Sammy and Whitesnake are going to get like an hour 15 each.
Yeah, that's usually the way it works. An hour 15 each. That's it. Yeah.
And how much longer can they go?
Yeah, that's true. 30 dates. Kicks off July 9th in West Palm Beach, Florida. And it goes for 30 dates to September 20th in Chula Vista, California. I'm curious to see the set list times and how that's going to be tight. For the Circle, holy cow. That's going to be tight. An hour and 15. They usually go 2 hours.
Yeah, they're going to have to choose carefully.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of choosing carefully, Billy Sheehan should watch what he says because, oh, my God, this is getting crazy. Now, Billy's getting angry, and Billy is a pretty
level-headed kind of guy.
Yeah. He's like a pretty chill dude, and he's very sweet. He's incredibly, God, is he talented, my Lord. In an interview with The Metal Voice, Billy Sheehan said he was offered the position in Van Halen 3 separate occasions. And then he went on the WESU's Noise in the Attic radio show, 88.1 FM. And he says, it bothered me very much, this whole story that came out. And he was blaming Guitar World, but he says, that's a complete, utter, total bullshit. I never said that. I never implied that. It's just clickbait. Very, very disheartening. He then went on to say that he spoke with Eddie 3 different times, twice in the 80s and then once again in the 90s about the position. And he went up to the house and he jammed with Ed and Al, and he says, I love that band. I love all these guys for years, and I never said anything about it because I felt bad. And he says, I think in a way it might have just been negotiating thing for them with Michael Anthony, saying, well, we've got another bass player, you better ... So I don't know. This thing is getting stickier and stickier. He says there was no official paperwork, but he says it was all sort of like a verbal discussion, and they kept changing their mind, apparently. Oh, yeah, we want you. No, wait a second. Hold on. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And he said he's not the only one. He says Jeff Berlin and Tim Bogart said they were both approached by Eddie at one point or another. Dave, what do you make of this?
I have validated the Jeff Berlin claim with Jeff Berlin's mom.
Really?
Yes. I saw Jeff Berlin play at the B3 tour, the one and only B3 tour.
Yeah.
Where it was him and Billy and Stu Ham.
Oh, wow.
And I just happened to be sitting at the same table as Jeff's mom, who was a very nice lady. And she just said to me, did you know, he got offered to play with Van Halen. I was like, oh, really? So that piqued my curiosity. So, yeah. So I think I would say Jeff's mom's a pretty good source. But anyway,
wow.
It's fairly obvious that over the years they were fishing. And here's the thing with Bill.
Yeah.
I think Bill's not trying to cause any trouble. I think Ed was definitely putting feelers out.
Yeah.
Was there any ever official paperwork? No. But you know what? There never really is any official paperwork.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's the whole Mitch Malloy problem.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that there never was any.
Right.
So he'll tell you he was in the band. I mean, for 5 minutes, but he
Yeah.
was in the band.
Oh, yeah. He was out getting lead singer clothing at TJ Maxx. He was ready
Right.
to show up
exactly.
on Monday morning, ready to howl. Yeah.
So did managers ever go to managers and start whipping out paperwork?
Right.
No.
Right.
Was Ed definitely feeling them out to see if there was any interest? I'm sure. But, Bill's not trying to get anybody in trouble or anything like that.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, he's right about the clickbait thing.
Oh, yeah.
They look for the one sentence of the interview that's going to get the headlines.
Right.
So I totally get it. And by the way, that interview he did.
Yeah.
Was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was only about 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
And the Van Halen piece was only one piece of the pie.
Right.
If you're interested in what else Billy was doing,
Right.
it was a great interview.
Yeah. So now Sammy Hagar is teaming up with Rick Springfield. Believe it or not, from the team that brought you the hit, I've Done Everything for You, comes Sammy's Beach Bar Rum. So Sammy Hagar and Rick Springfield have come together, be partners and co-owners of the business Sammy's Beach Bar Rum. You believe this, Dave? Unbelievable. And, believe it or not, to coincide with the new product, the 80s rockers will do a duet on a new song called Jesse Can't Drive 55.
You're making that up.
Of course I am. I just want to see if you're awake.
I'm awake.
Okay. So now Sammy also paid tribute to Aerosmith at the Music Cares Person of the Year event on January 25th. He sang Back in the Saddle, which is not an easy song to sing, but Sammy can pull it off, with Orenthi on guitar. And the other special guests at the event was REO Speedwagon, Alice Cooper, Cheap Trick, and Gavin DeGraw. And Sammy, at over 70 years old, was still kicking ass. Him and Steven Tyler, Eddie Trunk pointed this out, that him and Steven Tyler are the two wonders of the world, because they don't look their age, they don't sound their age, they don't act their age. It's pretty incredible. What do you think?
Yeah, that's awesome. I heard him do that. He pulled it off. Good for him.
Unbelievable. That's a tough fucking song to sing, boy. Now, Sammy's back in the news, and what is he doing, Dave? Oh, boy. He's sending a birthday message to Eddie. Oh, Sammy reaches out to Eddie Van Halen on his birthday which was January 26th. We celebrated last month. And he says, happy birthday to the GOAT, which stands for greatest of all time. If anybody doesn't know that acronym. I will be listening to Van Halen all day in your honor, Ed, and wishing you hashtag happy birthday, hashtag peace, hashtag love, hashtag health, hashtag happiness, hashtag it's 5150 time. So, Dave, was this a nice gesture, or was this an intended olive branch?
I think it was definitely a nice gesture.
Of course.
Could be an olive branch.
Could be.
I'm just waiting for hear him complain about it in a few months from now that he never heard back from Ed after wishing him a happy birthday
on his
again.
birthday in October? Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Oh, reach out to Andy. Now, here's the question. He listened to Van Halen all day. What Van Halen did he listen to? Was it Roth?
Oh, come on. We both know the answer to that. It wasn't anything before 1986, I'll tell you that.
Was he listening to Van Halen 3? What was he doing?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he had Balance on repeat all day.
Oh, it's so funny. And now, of course, he got a beautiful birthday message from his son, Wolf, who said, happy birthday to my father and the guitar man, love you, Pop, from Wolf. And Aerosmith even reached out and sent a picture of Joe Perry and Steven Tyler with Eddie and wished Eddie a happy birthday. And, of course, Cody called him the best daddy in the world and gave him puppy kisses. And, oh, Eddie was celebrating his birthday. Now, here's the funny part of Ed's birthday. So the day started with Ed tweeting on his own birthday. You say, what the hell is Ed tweeting on his birthday for? Well, he was being a little funny. He says, is today my birthday? Groovy, man. And he had a photo of himself looking like a combination of Cheech and Chong. He was like a stoned out guy from the 70s with glasses and a goatee and like one of those filters, they put on something. Hashtag Aquarius, hashtag birthday, hashtag hippie filter, hashtag music. So that was funny. What did you think of that, Dave?
Man, him and Janie, they love those filters.
Oh, they don't stop. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So now our buddy Joe Satriani, is coming out with a new album, Shape Shifting, which comes out in April. And he just dropped his new single, 1980. And the song was inspired by none other than Eddie Van Halen. It was filled with finger tapping and melody, and he even used a signature phaser pedal on it. Satriani said, I've always been a huge fan of Eddie Van Halen. In my mind, he just crystallized that era. The late 70s and early 80s, he kind of saved rock guitar. So that's what I would have been doing at that time. This is a little clip of it right here. I love this song. If you're a Van Halen fan, there's no way not to love this song. I urge all of you to go out and listen to some Joe Satriani. Dave, I don't understand why you're not more of a fan. His albums are so good. He has one of the best catalogs of any artist that I know. It's unbelievable. You know what you should do, Dave? Start with the blues album. It's called Joe Satriani. It came out in the 90s. It's got a red cover and he's wearing a hat on it. It's when he still had his hair. Right before he shaved it. You should, maybe, I know you're Mr. Blues over there, so maybe you can get yourself into that. I think he fell
Not
asleep.
bad. Sounds like a place to start. I did listen to 1980.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I do like it a lot.
Okay.
It's not a complete rip-off of Ed.
No.
It's a very nice
tribute.
Homage.
Homage. That's right.
Homage, right? I mean, very nice. And the song itself was rocking.
Yep.
Starts off with a nice bass line, which I like. Joe doesn't always do that. He's got a strong bass player this time.
Right.
And Kenny Aronoff on drums.
Yes, Kenny's
the
always
chicken
the
foot
best.
Replacement drummer.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, came out strong out of the gate. Just nice to see Joe still going strong, releasing an album, regularly every few years or so.
He's always touring, always releasing albums. He's incredibly prolific. His albums are fantastic. Can't suggest it more. So now, Guitar World released their list of best signature guitars for 2020, and Edward Van Halen's Wolfgang USA, The Signature Series reached at number 2. Number 1 was Brian